And then the main problem which came to my head straight away was the charging of them.
Getting them all charged up if everyone
Because
has them.
everyone knows that's an issue.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? So
Totally,
the idea was, what's the infrastructure like for these electric cars? Because, let's face it, not everyone owns homes. And not everyone lives in a place where you can park in front and just charge it from your plug socket.
Yeah.
But then you read...
People live in flats, people live in apartments.
So then my whole thing was, right, you just plug it in and charge your car. But then apparently that's not even recommended. You're supposed to have...
An official charger.
An official charging point.
I was under that assumption, lad. I spoke to a guy that works for a dealership, and I was like, you just charge them in the mains? And he was like, you can, but you're best using a proper 3 points.
Because they were saying...
official charger, not the official name with them.
Because they were saying, basically, if you plug it into your mains, you're running it at, like, the capacity of your house... electrical system for a long period of time, so it can be like a problem. So that's when you have to get like the specific home chargers installed and that. So like so then I was like, what do you mean you've got to get a home charger installed? And we were having a look, and then me and you we
had a look at the price, didn't we?
And it's like between 800 and 1,500 quid to get one of these proper homes.
You would be wounded if you thought you were doing the planet a favour, lads. Got your little Nissan Leaf together, lads. Got on with it. Oh, look at my new car, lovely little alloys, lads. And then you try and you think you can just bang it into the kitchen socket, lads, and have it coming out the window. And then someone says, oh, you need to spend another 1,500 quid.
That's what I mean.
Lads.
Like, so you're already buying a car that is generally more expensive to purchase up front.
Yeah, no, it is. They are
and
more
then
expensive.
then you're supposed to buy a home charging point.
You're about 6 or 7 grand over the petrol version of the car.
Oh man, it's crazy. So I was having a look at them. So then my idea was like, right, okay, so to charge it then, if you don't live in these places, what's the infrastructure like in the remainder of the UK?
Yeah.
So to charge them. So in the UK...
Because isn't there different types of chargers?
Yeah. So in the UK, according to a company called Zap Maps, there are 40,496 charging stations
points
at 23,900 locations across the UK.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a lot on paper, but that's nowhere.
60 million people in the UK. Like if only a quarter have a car,
that's horrendously
at
small.
one time, there's got to be at least 40,000 people trying to charge the car.
So then, of these charging stations, there's typically 3 types. So you have slow, fast, and rapid. So slow is kind of like the speed you get if you charge overnight or at home. So you wouldn't see them really at charging points. Where you might
so what, like full charge, like 10 hours type thing?
Yeah, 8 to 10 hours. That's what that normally comes in at. Then you've got fast. So they're the ones usually found in your car parks and leisure. You know, when you park up and like the spaces.
What's
for
the shopping centre? There's car park. Yeah.
But they normally take 3 to 4 hours to fully charge.
Okay.
And then you've got the rapid and the ultra rapid, which you see at like petrol stations,
services on the motorways. Yeah, I've seen them.
And they take about 30 to 60 minutes to fully charge, but your car has to be compatible with rapid and ultra rapid chargers. So not every electric car can use the ultra rapid.
Because weren't they asking, lads, about 6 months ago? I think it was in America, Elon Musk to make his chargers available to all of the brands of car. Mm-hmm. Because there wasn't enough, and he wants to open up like the Tesla infrastructure to like Mercedes, Audi.
So they're starting to do that, but it's still not accessible to every car. So I'll get on to it in a second. So basically, of those rapids, of those 40,400, only 7,700 are rapid charges. So there's only a very small amount of place you can get a quick boost.
And then what proportion of that are the fast?
Yeah. So of that, I've not got that off the top of my head.
So of the 40,000, only 7,000 are rapid.
Rapid or ultra rapid.
And that is still, well, think about it, you're calling it rapid, it still could be up to an hour.
That was like, air quotes, quick. It's still 30 minutes.
And then if you pull up to a fast charger and you're on 2 mile left, it's 4 hours.
And then there's only going to be 3 or 4 charges at a space.
There's only ever like 2, isn't there?
But say if you go to the services, say there's 5 or 6. What happens if 10 electric cars come in at the same time need charging? So you've got to wait 2 hours to charge. You've got to wait for someone to charge and then leave.
Lad, you know who's benefiting from that though? All those little Premier Inns on the motorway, lad.
Oh,
if there's a queue, if there's a big queue of
electric cars, a coffee.
We'll have to get in a Premier Inn for the night until I can get me whip charge. Then Premier Inns, lads, are rubbing their hands together.
We'll put one of them in the car.
Those little chefs on the motorway, lad.
Oh,
but lads, how long does it take? Listen, like, I think going electric, it sounds great, and like, obviously no one wants to destroy this planet that we're living on, but it's all about like time. Humans hate
waiting.
We've got no patience. And even if like you want to be this like, you know, messiah, like, I've got all the patience in the world, I'll do it for the planet. You're on a busy day, you've got to get to work, you've got on a meeting or something, and you pull up at a petrol station or a charging station, and all the charges are full, and you're thinking, so these are charging all full charge, I've spoke to them all, and it's all an hour. So I'm going to take an hour to wait and then an hour to get me full charge.
And then people will come
2
back,
hours late.
People will come back with a retort, well, you'll just charge it overnight. There will be a night, I promise you, where either you forget to switch on the plug or your charging point breaks. So then, like, you can't charge it at home. That will happen.
But
because it just
I get at the moment, you're saying that though as well, Belly. You're saying like, oh, charge overnight. As you say, there's the circumstances when you forget. Or you go on long journeys, lads. You can charge overnight, but if you're travelling 600 mile, if you're going from London to Scotland, you're going to need to stop somewhere and charge up and have a rest. But it's a very privileged position to say, like, oh, do it from home. People might not be buying these 1.5k charging points. If they've already spent 18, 20, 30 grand on a car, they might not have another 1.5k to whack a charger.
They may not even have the drive or the like on-street parking outside the home to even be able to install one anyway.
Lads, I went to Ambrecht Road, lads, and someone was charging a Tesla from a flat window, and they had the wire hanging out the flat, lads, into the sides of the Tesla, lads. And I was thinking, imagine if a kid like ran into that, or like someone took scissors to it. Like, kids do stuff like that, lads.
Lad, kids are horrible.
Lads, so like, but he had it 3 floors up, this big black wire, lad, sticking into the side of his silver Tesla.
See, that's not feasible.
Imagine if every house had these wires, lads.
And then, like, say you're in a 10-story thing, you just throw it out the 10th floor, plug that.
You were late for work, you'd be able to swing down your charging wire, lads.
Like something off Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Imagine all the mad kids who are like playing out on the dad's charging wire out the window.
Be careful on my charger, mate. Don't hurt yourself.
6 floors up, mate.
But then this goes into the point as well where, like we were saying, like people don't want to wait and stuff. It's not even that people just want to wait. People don't want to figure stuff out. And when you look at how complicated, so I was looking this up, right? And even I don't still fully get it, of like charging your car. So there are 5 different types of fucking cables that your electric car can come with. And then depending on the type of cable you have, depends on connector for your car, depends on what charging point you can use. And then when you show up to a charging point, there's one of a plethora of different companies that own these charging points. And each charging point uses its own app. So then if you go to one that you've never been before, and then they may just not work.
Fucking walk, lads.
So then what happens if you show up to a place and it's out of order, there was only one there, you got to keep driving around. And then the best experience, as we said, is with Tesla charge points, but then they've not opened it up to all car companies. So what?
There needs to be a universal
But then, is the UK government going to fund and have a nationalised energy
charging point?
Well, that's
but it's
definitely
like,
not going to happen.
You don't go to a petrol station you don't go at the moment to get your petrol or diesel and have to look for the specific petrol knob which fits your car. They all fit every car.
But here's the point. You do. There's just 2 fucking choices. You either need the green one
or the black one. Yeah, exactly, lads. And if you are getting the green one, every single green one in the country fits your car.
Yeah.
And like that, there needs to be some type of centralised, like uniform, homogenised charging.
Because I know people like
for electric cars, like where you're not turning up and going, if you got the app, how many points have I got on the app? Can I get the why?
Because if you look at the people statistically now who'd be able to afford electric cars, it's going to be people over the age of 40 who can genuinely own electric cars. Like obviously you get people getting them through companies and stuff because of tax rebates and that. But it tend to be people who are older who've got more disposable income who will buy these cars. And as we all know, the older you get, the more technical illiterate you get. And that's a general statement. Obviously, it doesn't apply to everyone. So imagine going up to people now and just going, so what you need to do, you need to have 20 apps on your phone.
Yeah,
you need to carry around different adapters depending on different things. And you need to just get in your car, and that's how you do it.
My nan'd never get off the house.
I reckon my dad would just walk. Right, they need to get to work. I'll set off.
You know what
Saturday.
I always think as well,
he wouldn't drive.
Obviously, we're hating a bit here on Lecky Whips. That's what I'm calling them. On Lecky Whips, but obviously, we don't want to destroy the planet. Me and Ryan don't want to. We're not petrol heads. We're not trying to like advocate for keeping petrol. We're just trying to point out that like this sort of fairy tale of having
get
everyone
an
having
car.
an electric car tomorrow. One, not everyone can afford these cars. They're much more expensive than petrol cars. Two, the way to charge them is through the roof. You need to get a point installed in your house. The infrastructure isn't there nationally. And then also around this global sort of effort to get the world moving electric in transport, there's still, you can't fly electric planes, can you? You can't drive electric boats, cruise ships. And what is the actual effect if for example, the whole of the UK went electric cars compared to if we still were flying 1,000 jumbo jets a day?
Yeah.
It's burning fossil fuels. Will it make a massive difference?